Today, I'm going to show you how to add emotions to your melodies. Adding emotions to your melodies is quite tricky, but hella important because you really never want a boring melody. Your melodies have to speak to your listener because they really are the part of your song that's going to get stuck in your listener's head and keep them coming back to support your music. And not only that, but the more your listeners keep coming back to your music and replaying it and sharing it because of how much they love your melodies, your streams will go up and money. So I personally guarantee that if you watch this entire video from beginning to end without skipping any information at all, that your melody skill will increase by at least 20% by the end of this video. But don't skip anything. So there are a lot of things that go into a melody that help add emotion to it. And oddly enough, it's not so much the melody itself, but it's more so what's going on around the melody, like the bass line and the chords and other supporting elements like the atmos and stuff like that. And the other main thing that really drives the emotion in a melody is the actual sound of it. If you have a dope melody, but a dull, boring sound that is making the melody, your melody is just going to sound dull and boring. So you always have to get an exciting sound that really suits the melody as perfectly as possible. So that's really about sound selection. Alright guys, so I'm going to write us out a melody right now and just show you how I would build around it to add emotions to it. Alright guys, so I got this piano loaded up. Alright, so I'm gonna just mess with these velocities and add some human touch. So the melody I came up with sounds like this. And let's go ahead and now write some chords. All the emotion is going to lie in these chords. Although that might sound nice to some people, we could still try out different instruments and see if we could get any more interesting sounds. So I'm going to go ahead and change up the sound of some of these instruments and see what we get. I don't know what was going through my head at the time I was filming this video because I didn't explain the next steps with what I did with all these notes. But basically, I took these chords, these nice piano chords, and I replaced the sound with a nice synth pad, and then I took these melody notes and I replaced it with a Nexus 2 guitar instrument. And what you're going to hear in the next part of this video is what that sounds like when I replace these two sounds. And all I'm going to do now is just focus on enhancing these chords as best as I can. Okay, so next I'm going to take our chords and copy them and put them onto this sound here. And this sound sounds like this. And then I'm going to do some sort of ARP that sounds like this. So now I have to edit the notes a little bit to sound like that. And then I got this really dope sound here that I could layer on top of that. And this sound's going to play the exact same notes as that ARP. Super electronic vibey sound. And then I have this high-pitched pad down here. It sounds really nice. And then one last thing that we can do to add some deepness to our melody is just put a nice big bass line in place. So to make this bass line, basically what you do is you take the bottom note of your chord progression and you copy it and then you put it on its own instrument. So we have this nice bassy instrument here that obviously doesn't sound bassy right now because we're in the 3rd octave of the keyboard. So we're going to come down to a nice bassy octave. So then we get this bass. And mind you, this bass trick by using the bottom notes of the chord will only work if our chords are in the root position, which these chords are not inverted. They are spread, but I did not invert the bass line to a different note. So these are the most basic form that our chords can be in. So this is why the root key will work. And that's how we could take just a simple little melody and just build on the instruments around that melody and come up with something really emotional and really nice that we could really build a whole song around. So if you want to learn more about building melodies, chords, arrangement, sound design, and mixing and mastering, come join me in my EDM bootcamp. I left a link for you at the top of the description below so you can check that out. People are saying amazing things about the bootcamp. And I really look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.